Learning English? Great! Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started. Imagine changing the world from your university room. That's exactly what Mark Zuckerberg did. He started Facebook, a website that today connects billions of people around the world. Think about it, most people you know probably use Facebook or Instagram, and Zuckerberg is the person who made that happen. It all began when he was a student at Harvard University. He was a clever programmer, and from a simple idea, Facebook grew very fast. Suddenly, this young student became incredibly rich and famous. By the age of 23, he was already a billionaire. But it hasn't all been easy. Zuckerberg has faced problems and arguments along the way, and some people even made a movie about him called The Social Network, which showed a complicated picture of his early success. Despite the challenges, Mark Zuckerberg is still a major figure in the world of technology, leading a company that affects how we communicate and share information every day. His story is a fascinating mix of innovation, success, and controversy. Chapter 1: Young Mark's Life. Mark Zuckerberg was born on 14th May 1984 in White Plains, New York, a place in the United States. His full name is Mark Elliott Zuckerberg. He was born into a family with interesting jobs. His mother, Karen, was a psychiatrist, a doctor who helps people with their minds and feelings, while his father, Edward, was a dentist, someone who takes care of people's teeth. Mark was not the only child in his family. He grew up with three sisters named Ariel, Randy, and Donna. This means he had a busy and lively home with his parents and siblings. His family had a religious background, as they were raised in a Reformed Jewish home, a type of Jewish religion. They lived in a town called Dobbs Ferry, New York, where Mark spent his childhood. We also know a little about his family history. His great-grandparents came from different European countries, including Austria, Germany, and Poland, meaning Mark's family had roots in various parts of the world before coming to America. For his early schooling, Mark first attended Ardsley High School, which was likely close to his home in Dobbs Ferry. Later, he changed schools and moved to Phillips Exeter Academy, a prestigious prep school known for its high academic standards and focus on preparing students for top universities. Phillips Exeter Academy was not just about books for Mark. He was also active in sports and became the captain of the fencing team. Fencing is a sport where two people fight with special swords, and being the captain meant he was both skilled and a leader for his team. This shows that even in his younger years, Mark was not just interested in computers but also participated in other activities and teamwork. Even though this chapter is called Young Mark's Life, it's important to remember that these early years were the foundation for something much bigger. Growing up in a family with professional parents, being raised in a Jewish household, and attending top schools all played a role in shaping who Mark became. His time at Phillips Exeter Academy, where he excelled both academically and in extracurricular activities, was just the beginning of his remarkable journey. A sports leader likely helped Mark develop important skills that would be useful later in his life when he started creating Facebook and leading a huge company. This early part of Mark's life might seem normal in some ways, like any other child growing up with family and school, but even then, there were hints of the person he would become. We know he was good at school, especially in subjects that required critical thinking and problem solving, and he was also a leader in sports. These were all signs that Mark was a bright and capable young person even before he became famous for Facebook. Understanding his young life helps us see where he came from and how he developed into the person who changed the world of social media. It laid the foundation for the rest of his story. Chapter 2: First Steps in Coding. Mark wasn't like other kids. While some children played with toys outside, Mark was interested in something else: computers. Even at a very young age, he wanted to understand how computers worked and what they could do. This interest started in his childhood and became a big part of his life. His parents noticed his curiosity and helped him learn by getting him a computer and finding a tutor to teach him programming. Programming is like giving instructions to a computer to make it perform tasks. For Mark, it was like learning a new language, but instead of talking to people, he was talking to machines. He enjoyed it immensely, as he was naturally curious and wanted to create things with computers. Around the age of 11, Mark made his first program, which he called Zuckerberg. It was like an early version of the internet, but just for his family. Since his father had a dental office in the same house where they lived, Zuckerberg allowed the computers in the house to communicate with the computers in his father's office. This meant that his family could send messages to each other even if they were in different parts of the house. It was a simple program, but it was significant because Mark had created it himself. It demonstrated his early skill in making computers communicate and showed his talent for problem solving and innovation. As Mark grew older, his computer skills advanced even further. While in high school, he worked on a more complex project, a smart music player called Synapse Media Player. However, this wasn't just any music player. What made Synapse special was that it used a technology called machine learning, allowing the computer to learn from data without being explicitly programmed for each task. The program observed Mark's listening habits. For example, if he always skipped certain types of songs or repeatedly played others, Synapse would take note of this behavior. Then, it would use that information to predict what music he might want to hear next. It was like having a music player that understood personal preferences and adapted accordingly. Mark's Synapse Media Player could analyze a person's music taste and suggest songs they would enjoy. This was quite advanced for a high school student to create, and people in the tech world quickly noticed Mark's talent. His project was posted on a popular technology website called Slashdot, where tech enthusiasts shared and discussed interesting news and projects. Synapse received a rating on Slashdot, meaning people were not only noticing it but also sharing their opinions about it. Additionally, PC Magazine, a well-known computer magazine, reviewed Synapse and gave it a rating of 3 out of 5 stars. This was a solid score and showed that even experts found Mark's music player impressive and well-made. It was a major achievement for a young programmer. A writer from The New Yorker made an interesting observation about Mark, saying, "Some kids played computer games, Mark created them." This simple statement perfectly captured Mark's passion and talent. He wasn't just using computers for entertainment, he was building new things with them. He was a creator, not just a user. Even while he was still in high school, Mark was so advanced in computing that he took a graduate-level computer course at Mercy College. This was similar to taking university-level classes while still in high school. He attended these classes on Thursday evenings, demonstrating his dedication to learning more about computers and his ability to stay ahead of other students his age. These early experiences with coding played a crucial role in Mark's journey. He started young, learned quickly, and was always creating. From Zucknet to Synapse Media Player, these projects acted as stepping stones, helping him develop the skills and confidence to take on even bigger challenges in the future. His passion for programming and innovation would eventually lead him to create something that would change the world: Facebook. Chapter 3: College and Trouble. After high school, Mark went to one of the most prestigious universities in the world, Harvard. Located in Cambridge, near Boston, Massachusetts, Harvard was known for producing some of the brightest minds. Mark started university in 2002, and even before he arrived, people knew about his exceptional talent in computing. A writer from The New Yorker even repeated the famous observation that while other kids played computer games, Mark made them. By this time, he had built a reputation as a programming genius. At Harvard, Mark focused on two main subjects: psychology and computer science. Psychology is the study of how people think and behave, while computer science explores how computers work and how to program them. His interest in psychology would later play an important role in how he designed Facebook, making it more appealing and engaging for users. He lived in a student dormitory called Kirkland House and joined a student group called Alpha Epsilon Pi. While he was making friends and adjusting to university life, his passion for programming remained as strong as ever. In his second year at Harvard, Mark created a program called Course Match to help students choose their university classes more easily. Selecting courses can be difficult, as there are many options, and students often want to take classes with their friends or ones that others recommend. Course Match solved this problem by showing students which classes their peers were enrolling in, helping them make better choices. It also allowed students to connect with classmates who were taking the same courses, making it easier to form study groups. The program became a useful tool at Harvard, simplifying the course selection process and fostering connections among students. After Course Match, Mark created another program, but this one led to controversy. The program was called FaceMash, and its idea came from something known as Facebooks at Harvard. These were not online books but physical directories containing the names and photos of students living in each residence hall. The purpose of these books was to help students recognize and get to know each other. Mark saw an opportunity to turn this concept into an interactive website. He took student photos from the Facebooks and placed two images side by side on a website. Visitors to the site could vote on which student they found more attractive. The website tracked the votes and created a ranking based on how many votes each student received. FaceMash started as a small experiment, but it quickly became extremely popular at Harvard. Over one weekend, hundreds of students visited the site to vote and check the rankings. However, not everyone was happy about FaceMash. Many students were upset because their photos were used without permission. They felt uncomfortable being judged on their appearance and thought the site was disrespectful. Some believed it was inappropriate to compare people this way, as it could hurt feelings and lead to negative consequences. Complaints started pouring in, and Harvard University took notice. Beyond the ethical concerns, FaceMash also caused technical issues. The site became so popular that it overloaded Harvard's computer network, slowing down internet access for everyone on campus. Some students couldn't even get online to complete their schoolwork because FaceMash was consuming too much bandwidth. Due to the backlash and network problems, Harvard decided to shut down the website. University officials told Mark to take it down, stating that it violated school policies and had caused too many disruptions. After FaceMash was shut down, Mark publicly apologized. He acknowledged that he had upset people by using their photos without permission and regretted causing trouble for the university's internet system. Harvard's student newspaper, the Harvard Crimson, wrote an article criticizing FaceMash and calling it completely improper, meaning they felt it was unacceptable and inappropriate for a university setting. This period was a difficult time for Mark at Harvard. He had created something that attracted massive attention, but it also sparked negative reactions and disciplinary action. However, this experience taught him valuable lessons. Despite the controversy, FaceMash proved that Mark had a unique ability to build websites and programs that people wanted to use. The mix of success and trouble would play an important role in shaping what he did next. Chapter 4: Facebook is born. In January 2004, while still a student at Harvard, Mark began working on a new project. Unlike his previous programs, this wasn't just a small tool for students, it was something much bigger. It was going to be a website where people could connect. The idea may have been inspired by his time at Phillips Exeter Academy, the school he attended before Harvard, which had something called the Photo Address Book. At Phillips Exeter Academy, students had a book called the Facebook, which contained names, photos, and details like class year, friends, and phone numbers. This book helped students get to know each other. Mark likely remembered this concept when he started developing his own online version. In January 2004, Mark began writing the code for what would become Facebook. This time, instead of being a physical book, it would be an interactive website. He didn't work alone. He teamed up with some of his Harvard roommates and friends, including Eduardo Saverin, Andrew McCollum, Dustin Moskowitz, and Chris Hughes. Together, they formed the first team behind Facebook. After a month of hard work, the website was ready. On 4th February 2004, Mark officially launched the Facebook at thefacebook.com. Initially, it was only available to Harvard students, and you needed a Harvard email address to sign up. The website was simple but innovative. Students could create profiles, upload photos, and connect with friends. It was like a digital version of the Facebook book from his old school, but far more interactive. However, just 6 days after launching the website, Mark faced trouble. 3 older Harvard students, Cameron Winklevoss, Tyler Winklevoss, and Divya Narendra, claimed that Mark had stolen their idea. They had asked him to help build their own social network, HarvardConnection.com, but they alleged that instead of assisting them, Mark used their concept to create Facebook. They took their complaints to the Harvard Crimson, the university newspaper, which began investigating the matter. In an attempt to prevent the story from being published, Mark reportedly accessed the emails of the newspaper editors to see what they knew. This action later became a point of controversy. The Winklevoss twins and Narendra eventually sued Mark, accusing him of intellectual theft. This lawsuit became a significant legal battle that would follow Mark and Facebook for years. Despite these challenges, Facebook continued to grow rapidly. Mark and his co-founder Dustin Moskovitz soon realized that Facebook had the potential to expand beyond Harvard. They decided to open it to other universities, starting with Columbia University, New York University, Stanford University, and other prestigious schools. Facebook was no longer just a Harvard-exclusive platform, it was becoming a social network for college students across the country. At this point, Mark faced a major decision. Facebook was consuming all his time, making it difficult to balance his studies. He realized that he couldn't fully commit to both his education and his growing website. In his second year at Harvard, Mark made a bold choice. He dropped out of college to focus entirely on Facebook. It was a risky move, as many people believed that completing a university degree was essential for success. However, Mark had confidence in Facebook's potential. Determined to turn Facebook into something much bigger, Mark and his co-founders, including Dustin Moskovitz, moved to California. They settled in Palo Alto, a city in Silicon Valley, which is known as the heart of the tech industry. They rented a small house, which became their first office and the headquarters of what would soon become one of the biggest companies in the world. Starting to look more like a real company. Even though they had now set up in California and things were going well, Mark and his team initially considered returning to Harvard. However, they soon changed their minds. They realized that Silicon Valley was the best place for technology and startups. Mark later said he liked the idea of Silicon Valley as a mythical place for innovation, and he knew that staying there would give Facebook the best chance to grow. From the beginning, Facebook had caught the attention of big companies. After launching at Harvard, it quickly gained popularity. Students loved how they could connect with friends, share photos, and stay updated on what was happening on campus. Mark and his team saw that Facebook was turning into something much bigger than they had originally imagined. As word spread, students from other universities, such as Columbia, New York University, and Stanford, began asking to join Facebook. Mark and Dustin Moskovitz worked hard to expand the platform, making it available to more schools. This created a chain reaction. Once students at one university got access, students at nearby schools wanted it too. During this exciting time, Mark faced a major decision. He was still a student at Harvard, but Facebook was demanding more and more of his time. He had to choose between continuing his education or focusing entirely on Facebook. In the end, he decided to drop out of Harvard to dedicate himself fully to the growing platform. It was a big risk, but he believed in Facebook's potential and knew it needed his full attention to succeed. Mark, Dustin, and the rest of the Facebook team made the bold move to leave the cold of Boston and relocate to Palo Alto, California. This city, located in Silicon Valley, was the heart of the tech world, home to major companies and promising startups. If they wanted Facebook to grow, this was the best place to be. When they first arrived in Palo Alto, they didn't have a fancy office. Instead, they rented a small house, which became their first workspace. It was a tight fit, but it was where they wrote code, brainstormed ideas, and laid the foundation for the future of Facebook. During this period, Mark met an important figure, Peter Thiel, a successful businessman and investor. Thiel saw the potential in Facebook and decided to invest money in the company. This was a crucial turning point. His investment gave Facebook the funds it needed to expand, hire more employees, and move into a real office. By the middle of 2004, Facebook had its first proper office. It wasn't a massive headquarters, but it was a big improvement from working out of a small rented house. Facebook was no longer just a college project, it was becoming a serious business with a bright future ahead. As Facebook grew rapidly, major companies took notice and wanted to buy it. They offered Mark Zuckerberg huge sums of money to take over Facebook, but he refused. In an interview, Mark later explained that his decision wasn't about the money. He and his team were focused on creating something special, an open platform for sharing information. He didn't want Facebook to be controlled by large media corporations, instead, he wanted it to remain independent and aligned with its mission. Facebook's user base continued to expand. Initially, it was only for university students, but soon high school students were allowed to join. Eventually, people from different countries could sign up, leading to a massive surge in users. By 2010, just a few years after its launch, Facebook had reached an incredible milestone: 500 million users. 500 million people were using the platform to connect with friends and family, share their lives, and stay updated on global events. Mark was both surprised and excited by this rapid growth. As Facebook became a global platform, many wondered how it could generate more revenue, particularly through advertising. Most websites make money by showing ads to their users, and Facebook had a massive audience. Mark knew they could increase their ad placements and earn more, but he chose a different approach. He pointed out that Facebook had fewer ads compared to search engines like Google, and they were already making enough money to sustain the platform. For Mark, it wasn't about maximizing profits, it was about keeping Facebook user-friendly and growing in the right direction. Mark's decision to drop out of Harvard, move to California, secure investment, and reject offers to sell the company were all crucial turning points. Facebook was no longer just a student networking site, it was becoming something much bigger. However, with this rapid growth came new challenges, including legal battles and controversies that would test Mark and his company in the years ahead. Chapter 6: Problems and Lawsuits. As Facebook expanded, Mark Zuckerberg and his company faced serious challenges. Running such a powerful platform was not easy, and at times, things went wrong. One major issue was legal trouble. Various people and organizations took Facebook to court, claiming unfair or illegal actions. These lawsuits became significant obstacles for Mark and his team. One of the earliest and most famous lawsuits came from three Harvard students, Cameron Winklevoss, Tyler Winklevoss, and Divya Narendra. They claimed that Mark had stolen their idea. According to them, they had asked Mark to help build their social networking site, Harvard Connection, later known as ConnectU. However, instead of assisting them, they alleged that Mark took their idea and created Facebook for himself. They felt betrayed because they believed Mark was working with them, only to launch a competing platform. This led to a major legal battle that began in 2004. At first, the court dismissed their case due to a technical issue, but the Winklevoss twins and Narendra continued to fight. Facebook even countersued them. After years of legal battles, they finally reached a settlement in 2008. Facebook agreed to compensate the Winklevoss twins and Narendra with a financial payout and company shares. The settlement was worth millions of dollars, officially ending this first major legal dispute. Another major conflict arose with Eduardo Saverin, one of Facebook's co-founders and one of Mark's earliest partners. Saverin had been part of Facebook from the very beginning, but as the company grew, tensions between him and Mark escalated. In 2005, Eduardo Saverin and Mark Zuckerberg had disagreements about how to run Facebook, leading to another lawsuit. Eduardo accused Mark of misusing company funds for personal expenses, creating tension between the former friends and business partners. Like the previous lawsuit involving the Winklevoss twins, this case was also settled outside of court. While the exact details of the settlement were not made public, Eduardo remained officially recognized as a co-founder of Facebook. Another legal battle emerged in 2010 when a man named Paul Seglia filed a lawsuit claiming he owned a significant share of Facebook, even more than Mark. Seglia argued that he had a contract from 2003 proving he owned 84% of the company and that he had paid Mark $11,000 to start the website. However, Facebook strongly denied this claim, stating that the contract was fake and that Seglia was attempting to fraudulently gain billions of dollars. The case took a dramatic turn when law enforcement got involved, leading to Seglia's arrest in 2012. Authorities accused him of forging emails and altering documents to support his claims. Many of Seglia's lawyers eventually dropped his case, believing it was baseless. As Facebook continued to grow, Mark Zuckerberg faced scrutiny not just from individuals but also from governments. In both 2018 and 2021, he was called to testify before the U.S. Congress. Lawmakers wanted to question him about Facebook's handling of user data, particularly after a major scandal involving a company called Cambridge Analytica. This company had accessed data from millions of Facebook users without their permission, raising serious concerns about privacy and data protection. Mark faced tough questions about what Facebook was doing to safeguard user information, prevent misinformation, and limit the spread of hate speech. He admitted that Facebook needed to improve and stated that the company was taking steps to strengthen its policies. These lawsuits and controversies illustrate the challenges that came with Facebook's success. While the company had revolutionized social networking, it also faced intense scrutiny, legal battles, and ethical concerns. Chapter 7: Mark in Movies and Television. As Facebook became a global phenomenon, Mark Zuckerberg's story caught the attention of filmmakers and writers. One of the most famous portrayals of him appeared in the 2010 movie The Social Network. This film focused on how Mark created Facebook while studying at Harvard University. The role of Mark was played by actor Jesse Eisenberg. When Mark learned about the movie, he expressed discomfort, saying he found it strange that a film was being made about him while he was still alive. The movie was based on a book titled The Accidental Billionaires, which told an engaging and dramatic version of Facebook's origin story. Culture. Aaron Sorkin, the writer of The Social Network, admitted that while the movie was based on real events, it was not meant to be a documentary. He focused on telling a compelling story rather than sticking to the exact truth. Some people felt that the movie portrayed Mark Zuckerberg in a negative light, making him seem unfriendly or ruthless. Mark himself worried that audiences would misunderstand him after watching the film. Despite this, the movie was highly successful and won several major awards, including the Golden Globe for Best Picture. Interestingly, the filmmakers even thanked Mark Zuckerberg in their acceptance speech, acknowledging that his life and work had inspired an important story about modern communication. Sorkin later apologized if the movie had misrepresented Mark, emphasizing that he saw Mark as a visionary businessman who wanted to help others. A memorable moment occurred when Mark Zuckerberg met Jesse Eisenberg, the actor who played him, on Saturday Night Live. It was their first time meeting, and Jesse nervously asked Mark what he thought of the movie. Mark simply responded that it was interesting. Jesse admitted that he had spent so much time thinking about Mark while preparing for the role that meeting him in real life felt surreal. Despite the movie's critical tone, Mark showed a good sense of humor by appearing on the show and joking about it. However, many people who knew Mark personally argued that The Social Network was only about 40% accurate. David Kirkpatrick, an author who wrote a book about Facebook, said that while some events in the film happened, many details were exaggerated or changed. He insisted that Mark was not as mean or sarcastic as the movie depicted. The film suggested that Mark created Facebook to gain social status after being excluded from elite Harvard clubs, but Mark denied this, saying he had no interest in those clubs at all. Carol Balloon, a former Facebook employee, also stated that the movie's portrayal of Mark as a socially awkward and disloyal person was misleading. He claimed that Mark never intentionally betrayed his friends. Beyond The Social Network, Mark Zuckerberg was often parodied in pop culture. He appeared as a cartoon version of himself in The Simpsons, where he told Lisa Simpson that college wasn't necessary for success, just like Bill Gates and Richard Branson. Saturday Night Live also made fun of him in a comedy sketch featuring actor Andy Samberg playing a humorous version of Mark. Mark reportedly enjoyed the sketch and thought it was funny. Comedian Stephen Colbert even gave Mark a joke award called the Medal of Fear, poking fun at how Mark seemed to care deeply about his own privacy while Facebook users had far less control over theirs. Mark also appeared in Terms and Conditions May Apply, a documentary about online privacy and how users often agree to website terms without realizing how much data they are sharing. Even the animated show South Park mocked Mark, portraying him as an awkward, intrusive character who barged into people's homes and acted like a bully. Overall, Mark Zuckerberg's influence on the world was so significant that he became a major subject in movies, TV shows, and comedy sketches. The Social Network was the most famous portrayal, offering a dramatic, but not entirely accurate, retelling of Facebook's origins. Other shows took a more comedic approach, reflecting how deeply Facebook and its founder had become embedded in popular culture. Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, CZI, focuses on areas like education, health, and scientific research. Mark and Priscilla wanted to use their money in a way that could create real change and solve big problems rather than just donating to existing charities. By setting up CZI as an LLC, they had the flexibility to invest in businesses, fund projects, and influence policies in ways that traditional charities could not. Mark's journey into philanthropy began in 2010 when he donated $100 million to public schools in Newark, New Jersey. The city's schools were struggling, and Mark wanted to help improve education for students. However, despite good intentions, the results were disappointing. Some reports suggested that much of the money was wasted, and the improvements were not as effective as hoped. This experience showed that even a large amount of money doesn't always guarantee success in solving complex problems. That same year, Mark joined the Giving Pledge, a commitment by wealthy individuals to donate at least half of their fortune to charity during their lifetime. This initiative was started by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, and Mark and his wife, Priscilla Chan, pledged to give away most of their wealth to make the world more equal. In 2013, Mark made another major donation, giving away nearly $1 billion in Facebook shares to the Silicon Valley Community Foundation. This organization supports a variety of causes, including education and community development. The following year, in response to the Ebola outbreak in West Africa, Mark and Priscilla donated $25 million to help combat the disease. Their contributions continued in 2015 when they donated $75 million to San Francisco General Hospital, the largest private donation ever given to a public hospital in the U.S. As a result, the hospital was renamed the Priscilla Chan and Mark Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital and Trauma Center. However, some San Francisco residents later criticized this name change due to growing concerns about Facebook's impact on society. The biggest milestone in Mark and Priscilla's philanthropy came in 2015 with the creation of the Chan-Zuckerberg Initiative, CZI. They announced that they would give away 99% of their Facebook shares, valued at around $45 billion at the time, through this initiative. Unlike traditional charities, CZI operates as an LLC, allowing them greater control over how the funds are used. This structure enables them to invest in businesses, support policy changes, and fund research in a way that aligns with their long-term vision. Through CZI, Mark and Priscilla have focused on improving education, advancing medical research, and promoting equality. While some people have questioned their approach, there is no doubt that their commitment to philanthropy is one of the largest ever made by a tech billionaire. Their goal is not just to donate money but to create lasting change by tackling some of the world's most pressing challenges. The goal of the Chan-Zuckerberg Initiative, CZI, is broad: to advance human potential and promote equality. Mark and Priscilla want to help improve lives around the world through their philanthropy. Some people refer to this kind of giving as philanthropic capitalism, where donations are made with a strategic and long-term vision. One of CZI's major projects is the Chan-Zuckerberg BioHub, a research center in San Francisco that brings together top scientists from Stanford, Berkeley, and the University of California, San Francisco. CZI donated $600 million to launch the BioHub, which aims to accelerate scientific discoveries and find cures for diseases. Unlike traditional charities, the BioHub can generate revenue from its research, but it also encourages open collaboration by sharing scientific work freely. Even during the COVID-19 pandemic, Mark and Priscilla continued their philanthropy by funding research to develop treatments for the virus and supporting local news organizations that were struggling financially. Mark's journey has evolved from being a college student coding in his dorm room to a billionaire dedicated to solving global problems. While some of his early donations had mixed results, his long-term commitment through CZI highlights his vision for creating lasting change in education, health, and science. His story is not just about building a successful company but also about using his wealth to make a significant impact on the world. Why is Mark Zuckerberg so rich and successful? Mark Zuckerberg is known worldwide for creating Facebook, a platform that millions use daily. However, his success is not just a result of luck, there are many factors that helped him reach the top. First, he had a great idea at the right time. In the early 2000s, as the internet was becoming more popular, but there was no main platform where people could easily connect with friends online. Mark noticed this gap and was inspired by Facebook's printed directories with photos and names of students in Harvard dorms. He turned this concept into an online platform, creating a simple yet powerful way for people to connect. Second, he built something people truly wanted to use. Facebook started as the Facebook, exclusive to Harvard students. It allowed them to see their classmates, find friends, and stay updated on campus life. The platform quickly became a hit, and Mark expanded it to other universities like Columbia, Stanford, and Yale. Students loved how easy and fun it was to share photos, send messages, and stay connected. As a result, Facebook grew rapidly. Third, Facebook benefited from the network effect. This means that the more people who joined Facebook, the more valuable it became. If only a few people used it, it wouldn't be very interesting. But when all your friends, family, and classmates were on it, Facebook became essential. This snowball effect helped Facebook grow at an incredible pace. Fourth, Mark made smart business decisions. Even when Facebook was still new, big companies wanted to buy it, but Mark refused to sell. He and his team believed in their vision and wanted to grow Facebook into something even bigger rather than making quick money. This decision was crucial to Facebook's long-term success. Mark also realized early on that Facebook could make money through advertising. Companies were willing to pay to reach Facebook users, making it a highly profitable business model. These key factors, having the right idea at the right time, creating something people loved, benefiting from the network effect, and making bold business decisions, all contributed to Mark Zuckerberg's rise to success. Facebook became highly profitable because of its advertising model. Since millions of people used Facebook daily, companies were willing to pay to display ads to users. This made Facebook an incredibly valuable business, generating enormous revenue. Another key reason for Mark Zuckerberg's success was his technical skills and work ethic. Even in college, he was known as a programming prodigy. He learned to code at a young age and personally wrote the first version of Facebook. Before that, he had already built other software programs, demonstrating his deep technical knowledge. His skills were essential for creating and improving Facebook. Mark also worked extremely hard, even dropping out of Harvard to dedicate himself fully to Facebook. His commitment and determination helped him overcome challenges and continuously refine the platform. Additionally, Facebook constantly evolved and improved under Mark's leadership. The platform didn't remain the same as it was in 2004. Mark and his team kept introducing new features, such as photo sharing, video, and messaging, to keep users engaged. They also acquired other popular apps like Instagram and WhatsApp, further expanding Facebook's influence. This ability to adapt and grow allowed Facebook to stay ahead of competitors and remain a dominant force in social media. Another significant milestone in Mark's journey was when Facebook became a public company in 2012. This meant that anyone could buy shares of Facebook on the stock market. Because the company was so valuable, Mark, who owned a large portion of the shares, became a billionaire almost overnight. As Facebook's value continued to rise, his wealth grew exponentially, making him one of the richest people in the world. Of course, Mark's journey has not been without difficulties. He has faced lawsuits, accusations of stealing ideas, and concerns about privacy on Facebook. Despite these challenges, Facebook continued to expand and play an essential role in digital communication. In conclusion, Mark Zuckerberg's success is a result of several factors. He had a great idea at the right time, created something people loved, made smart business decisions, and worked incredibly hard. His vision, combined with his technical skills and the power of the Internet, helped him build one of the most influential companies in the world. His story is one of innovation, persistence, and understanding what people want in the digital age. Mark Zuckerberg's life today. After following Mark Zuckerberg's journey from a young boy fascinated by computers to the founder of Facebook, it's important to look at his life today. What is he doing now, after achieving so much success and facing many challenges? This chapter explores his personal life, interests, and role in the world. Mark is not just a businessman, he is also a husband and a father. In 2012, he married Priscilla Chan, whom he met while they were both students at Harvard. Priscilla is a doctor, and the couple has been together for many years. Their wedding was a small and private event held in their backyard, which also celebrated Priscilla's graduation from medical school. The couple has 3 daughters. Their first daughter, Maxima, was born in 2015, and they gave her a Chinese name, Chen Mingyu, which holds special meaning for their family. Their second daughter, August, was born in 2017, and their third daughter, Aurelia, arrived in 2023. Mark often speaks about how becoming a father has changed his perspective on life and the future. It is clear that family is a significant part of his life. Beyond family and business, Mark and Priscilla have used their wealth to give back through the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, CZI. This project aims to solve major global problems, such as diseases and social inequality. It highlights their commitment to making a positive impact beyond just Facebook. Mark has also become increasingly involved in politics. In the past, he rarely discussed political issues, but that has changed. He has used his platform to speak about important topics and has met with political leaders from around the world. For example, he has spoken about immigration and the importance of helping newcomers to the US. He has also addressed concerns about online safety and the need to protect users on the Internet. However, his company, now called Meta, has faced criticism for its handling of privacy, misinformation, and security issues. Mark has had to defend Facebook's policies and testify before government committees about how the platform operates. Additionally, Mark has engaged in political fundraising and has supported politicians from different parties, particularly on issues such as education reform. He even founded a group called FWD.US to push for changes in immigration and technology policies. This involvement shows that he is not only focused on business but also on influencing social and political issues. However, Mark's political engagement has not always been easy. His views and the actions of his company have sparked controversy. He has faced criticism and has had to navigate complex political situations. Recently, he expressed regret for not resisting government pressure more when it came to removing certain COVID-19 related content on Facebook. This illustrates the challenges he faces as a leader in both technology and public policy. Mark Zuckerberg continues to learn and reflect on his role and the responsibilities that come with running a massive platform like Facebook. While his work and political interests keep him occupied, he also has personal hobbies. Recently, he has developed a strong passion for martial arts, particularly Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, BJJ, and mixed martial arts, MMA. He has been actively training in these sports and even competed in a BJJ tournament, where he won medals. This reveals a different side of Mark, one that enjoys physical challenges and competition. Over the years, Mark's public image has also evolved. In the early days of Facebook, he was often seen as a young, sometimes socially awkward tech genius. The movie The Social Network portrayed him in a somewhat negative light. However, as time passed, his image transformed, and he is now regarded as one of the most influential leaders in the tech industry. Recently, there has been a noticeable change in his personal style. Once known for wearing simple grey t-shirts and jeans, he has occasionally been seen sporting fashionable outfits, including gold chains and trendy streetwear. Some people speculate that this is a deliberate rebrand to appeal to different audiences, but Mark insists that his style choices are personal and not influenced by a stylist. Overall, Mark Zuckerberg's life today is a blend of various responsibilities and interests. He remains the CEO of Meta, leading a company that impacts billions of people worldwide. He is also a dedicated husband and father who values his family life. Beyond business, he is engaged in politics and philanthropy, using his influence to address global challenges. At the same time, he pursues personal passions like martial arts. His life is complex and dynamic, demonstrating that he is not just a tech leader but a person with many different roles and interests. From a college dorm room to the global stage, Mark Zuckerberg's journey is one of constant growth and transformation. Conclusion. Mark Zuckerberg's story is an incredible journey from a young boy learning to code to the leader of a company that connects billions of people. What started as a small idea in a college dorm room grew into Facebook, a platform that has fundamentally changed how people communicate, share their lives, and stay informed about the world. His success made him one of the wealthiest people on earth, but his journey hasn't been without challenges. He has faced lawsuits over the creation of Facebook and ongoing criticism about privacy issues and the platform's impact on society. His story has been told in movies and TV shows, sometimes in ways he did not agree with. Despite these obstacles, Mark has also used his fortune for philanthropy. Alongside his wife, Priscilla Chan, he founded the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative to support education, science, and healthcare. They have donated billions of dollars to causes aimed at making the world a better place. Mark Zuckerberg's life continues to unfold, and both he and his company keep evolving. Whether people see him as a visionary genius, a controversial figure, or both, there is no denying his massive impact on the 21st century. His influence on technology, communication, and society will likely continue to shape the digital world for years to come.